Who did the cooking for you?
Ronald McDonald.
Right. Gave you most of your food.
I would say most of my nutrition came from Mr. Ronald McDonald.
It's not bad.
It wasn't bad. It was great.
Yeah.
It was fucking fantastic.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah. And then my brother worked there, so I ate there for free for years and years and years, every single day. And that's why I look so young for my age, because I'm 39, but I've not a wrinkle and I haven't had Botox or filler. I'm full of preservatives.
It's breaking bread.
If you haven't joined our Patreon yet, you really should. It's pretty great. You get stuff from the road. You get extra downloads after the episode. Lots of cool content. Go over to patreon.com and look up our podcast. And we'd love to see you over there. And for those of you who have already signed up, we'll see you there in a little bit. How's life?
Everything's good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Things are good. It seems like you're going into this little lighter space now. It's fun to watch. It's nice to finally meet you.
Well, I'm revisiting the lighter space. I did it for a while. You know, I think I started in America and also in England in comedy. And then I started talking about some serious things.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, talk about all the serious things now, all the time, only, forever.
Yeah.
And then I listened to them and then I became sad.
Yeah.
And then I realized that I want to keep talking about serious things, but I also need, for my own spirit and for the spirit of my audience who first found me with comedy, we all need a bit of reprieve, a bit of respite. And so, you know, when I did the Bad Dates podcast a few years ago, that was me kind of just dipping my toe in the water to see how inappropriate and ridiculous am I allowed to be still. And it was received very well, and the podcast went to #1. And so this was the podcast I always wanted to do. And so I left that one to kind of start working on this.
Right.
And it's called Wrong Turns.
Yeah, that's good. And I saw some of my comedian friends, and we're trying to
we're trying to get you on, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. But it is really interesting because there's that thing, funny people are insightful people. So they kind of see through a lot of BS, and they kind of, and you can easily go to a space where let's get real and talk about real stuff. But I could see, I had a friend whose dad was a judge in divorce court. And he lasted like 3 years and had to get out because it was just, the environment was so heavy.
Yeah.
And you're helping people and you're getting them through whatever, but it can weigh on people.
Yeah.
Especially if you're sensitive and insightful.
I think so. And I think it's just also, everything's weighing heavy on everyone at the moment. It's a really dark time. And I think we're being exposed to more of the news than we've ever been exposed to. And our brains aren't really built for this.
No.
We don't have really the capacity to handle this much terror and doom. And the thing is that the media was dying, right, before COVID. And then COVID created an uptick in the media because the one thing that the brain neurologically can't look away from is danger or fear, because that's the brain's main function, is to predict and protect, right? And so they realized that sex doesn't really sell anymore because we've seen really like everyone's bumhole now, you know, it's everywhere. So many, like just more than I knew that my brain could handle.
Yeah.
And so the only thing that really will sell forever is fear, anything that alerts someone to their own danger. And so I feel as though that's what the media has latched onto, knowing that that will keep our eyeballs, you know, fixated on it, and then they'll be able to keep selling us advertising, etc. And so we need to have some sort of balance in the world. And I think that's why things like this podcast and many of the things in the world that create just a bit of funny outlet remind me of my childhood, which was, you know, a difficult time, and it was comedy that kept me alive.
Right.
And so I'm just trying to make sure I balance the two, because I think both heal the world.
How scary is the world today
Technically,
compared
yeah,
to other times in the world?
it's technically the least scary it's ever been.
Isn't that fascinating?
Statistically, it's the least scary it's ever been because, you know, we had times of, you know, 300-year wars, and we had pillaging happening as like a mainstream everyday event everywhere.
Right.
Child marriage was far more normal back then. It's sad to think that this is the vast improvement on society.
Yeah.
The bar really is in hell in that case, but technically it's the best things have ever been, but it's the most we've ever heard about the darkness. And I think there's a positive positive in knowing about the darkness. You can be a self-aware, compassionate person. But also, as I said, our brains are just simply not built to handle this much imbalance of darkness versus light. And when I was young, the news used to tell you something that was sad and scary, and then something uplifting. And it was conscious of the fact that you can have a crumbling society if you just tell people bad news all the time.
Yeah.
And now they don't care because that's the only way for the media to survive is by shocking us.
Yeah, and it's
and social media as well.
Well, yeah, and the news lasted a half hour. It was a half hour of your day. Like,
yeah,
you would
6
get the
o'clock,
newspaper,
9 o'clock, yeah.
maybe, and then 6 o'clock news, and then it was done, and then you were back to yelling at your children. And now that it's 24 hours a day, you know, because my brain, I literally was saying to myself, how scary, what are the things I'm scared of right now because I'm on social media so much, and how valid are they? And I was like, okay, well, the climate, that's scary. AI, that's pretty scary. The political environment of the U.S. and all that comes with that. And those are all three very valid things. But I've just been scrolling in them and living in them. And, you know, I'll tell people to go, here's a link to a senator or here's a thing. But other than that, you're pretty powerless. So I was like, I can't eat all of this all the time. So I had to put myself on a time limit for Instagram. But then I wanted to see how my video was doing, so I had to break out of it. Because it was really funny. I took my pug and I put his little face in different places, and I really thought people were going to really like it.
Yeah, did they?
They did, but then I saw
nice.
D.L. Hughley's feed, and he was telling me all about the riots, and then I was back into that.
Doom scrolling.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. When I bag up stuff for the Goodwill and I put it in my trunk and I want to go donate these clothes to the poor people, at what point that I don't pull into the Goodwill and I'm just driving around with it in my trunk, at what point am I a bad person? So I'm starting off as a good person. I'm going to give this to the poor people.
I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying you're now just driving it around in your trunk and you're just withholding deliberately.
No, I'm just like, the
fuck them.
parking.
They can't have my fucking jeans.
The parking's going to be shit over there. I don't have time today. And then 6 months go by and I'm like, I still haven't dropped off the poor stuff. Am I still a good person?
I don't know. Some of my clothes are so ugly that I wonder if it would make someone's life worse to have them. So it really depends on how nice those clothes are, like how comfortable they are, what kind of condition.
Yeah.
Everything's stained with chocolate, so, you know, it looks a bit like poo. It's a nightmare.
Is
it's a
chocolate
real
your
nightmare.
favorite?
Chocolate. It's not my favorite, actually. It's just something I enjoy, but I'm actually not a big chocolate fan. I'm a cake person, really.
Yeah, what kind of cake? What's your favorite cake?
Any kind of vanilla cake. I'm really like scarily dull. I really love a vanilla cake with just like cream and maybe a few blueberries for a bit of action. But generally I'm quite, yeah. Like I don't like overwhelming flavors. I'm not a sour candy person. I don't like condiments. I like I like something really well made and basic. Pizza, my favorite food on earth.
Yeah, the best.
Yeah, simple.
Yeah, that's what I like, simple, especially with dessert. Like just a plain little biscuit, just a touch of sugar to it. Oh, that makes me happy.
Yeah, and I find American food sometimes a bit overwhelming with the flavors.
Oh, really? One of my questions to you is, what do you think of food in America? Do you think of us as just like one giant Frito?
No, I don't.
No?
I don't. But I've never had more gas. Like, I feel like I've single-handedly contributed to the environment crisis since I got here in 2015. Like, if you look at the environment since then
It's a
and
good
the
point.
ozone, I think there's a direct link between me getting here and things getting worse and more people getting sunburn.
What makes you the gassiest?
All of it, really. Just the craft services, you know, on a set, which is where they give free food to actors to keep them happy. But I'd say all of it. Just the fact that I have to go out of my way to find sugar-free bread in this country is pretty disturbing. I come from, you know, I grew up in Europe where everything's very pure.
Yeah.
And we don't need things to say organic because everything's kind of organic.
Right.
Whereas here it's like, we can't call it Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have to call it KFC because it might not be chicken. Like, you know. It's not what I'm used to. I've still had a lovely time. I've had great meals. I mean,
Sure.
I gained like the standard COVID-15 or the COVID-19 maybe is what we all gained, where I decided to, you know, some people were like, I'm going to learn how to make sourdough, or I'm going to learn a new language, or I'm going to create a new skill or learn how to make dresses. And I just, I completed Uber Eats.
You got to the end?
I got to the very end,
Wow.
yeah. It got so bad, actually, that I had to go to other friends' houses because you only get a certain catchment area on Uber Eats where you're not allowed to order if it's too far away. So I'd go and like stand outside a friend's house in the Palisades so I could get a whole new access to all these other restaurants. It was chaos. It was chaos. I had like pre-diabetes by the end of the pandemic.
It really was. Yeah. And you start doing that thing where you're like, wow, what about this one or this one? Let's taste them both.
Yeah. No, but I do that actually. That's like I don't know if it's maybe my identity, but I like to host private food competitions just for myself and maybe one other friend where,
really?
we'll trial different pizzas at the same time
That's
from different
amazing.
restaurants. Yeah, it's extremely indulgent, but I don't drink or do drugs or have any fun. So that means that I've got spare money to do private food competitions with just one friend.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So much better than drugs.
So much better than drugs and cheaper.
Did you do drugs and alcohol ever?
No, because I'm already just so annoying sober. And I was like, this doesn't need to happen faster or bigger. You know?
It's pretty great. Everyone I know that didn't do it, other than the president, it seems really, they're great people.
I mean, Elon seems to be having a great time. No one seems happier than him.
Just ending up with black eyes. Yeah, I don't. I think the best thing is to never have done it.
Yeah, well, then I don't know what I'm missing. That's kind of my thing with not having children.
Right.
Everyone's like, but it's the greatest love you'll ever know. And I'm like, but I don't know it. So I have no idea what I'm missing out on.
Do you know for a fact no children?
100,000%.
Good for you.
Yeah, I've never been more sure of anything than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it take a while to discover that, or you just kind of always knew it?
Came out the puss knowing nothing was coming out of mine. I've just never been interested at all.
Yeah.
Like I didn't really know what to do with dollies, and I immediately wanted my brother's G.I. Joes, you know, and so I was there hanging them off the curtain rails, you know, with my brother. And so, I just don't have that maternal instinct.
It's good.
But you know what I do have is I have an instinct to be maternal towards adults. Not in I want to breastfeed a grown man in a diaper kind of way, which is also a lovely community.
Right.
But
You have to say that without knowing it exists, because you know it exists.
It exists. I've seen the documentaries, but I don't mean it in that way. I just mean I want to look after the mums. Like no one looks after the mums.
Yeah.
The mums are looking after everyone, and the dads en masse. There are some great dads in this world, but a dad has to do far less to be considered a great dad than a great mum.
Yeah.
And we're always looking for what mothers do wrong, and we're looking for what dads do right.
Yeah.
And it's this sort of subconscious bias that happens in society. So I want to be there to turn up, you know, with the wine and the pizza and the dildo, and you can tell me that you hate your husband and your baby, and I know you don't mean it.
Right.
But I won't judge
You're
you
allowed
because
to-
I'm not projecting my own motherhood onto you because I
Right.
don't have any. But the one bad habit I have is that whenever anyone's telling me about anything they're going through with their baby, I have to fucking fight the urge to bring up a similar situation I'm in with my dogs. And it's this nightmare. Do you have this?
It's very judgy.
Yeah,
it is very judgy.
People really don't like it when
they don't.
you try and compare, because it's incomparable. But to me, it feels the same.
I gotta say, and this is coming from a dad, but it's not that far apart.
Right.
It's really not. I mean, there's a deep motherly thing that I don't understand that I know exists. But you totally love your dogs, and it's deep.
Yeah.
And it's not that you're worried. You're thinking about them when you're out, and all of the trials, all of the loves. It's not that far apart.
Yeah. I frequently think I'm going to euthanize myself when my eldest dog dies. So that's the plan. Anyway.
You do it at the same time, like you're in the...
Yeah.
Yeah. The vet's like, what are you swallowing? Nothing.
Yeah. I've got a little cyanide pill for when he goes. But this is a comedy podcast.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I have 2 Cavapoos.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're half poodle, half Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Do you have a picture?
I do, but not on me this second. But just imagine the cutest thing you've ever seen.
Okay.
And the best boy and the best girl you've ever heard of. And that's what my dogs look like.
Do they travel with you?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah. One time, one of them shat on a plane, and then I heavily considered if I wasn't going to be able to get it out the floor before someone came over to just cop to it and say, I did it. And just let that be my legacy.
Yeah.
But that's how much I love my dog. I was willing to let that be a headline.
She did what?
Yeah. Thankfully, that didn't happen. This is a farty seat, isn't it?
Is it?
Or are you just farting?
No comment.
Okay.
Who did the cooking when you were? How many siblings?
One.
One brother. Mm-hmm. And who did the cooking for you?
Nobody. Actually, Ronald McDonald.
Right. Gave you most of your food.
I would say most of my nutrition came from Mr. Ronald McDonald.
That's not bad.
It wasn't bad. It was great.
Yeah.
It was
It's pretty-
fucking fantastic.
Yeah. It's pretty
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. And then my brother worked there, so
Oh, wow.
I ate there for free for
my
years
God.
and years and years, every single day. And that's why I look so young for my age, because I'm 39, but I've not a wrinkle and I haven't had Botox or filler. I'm full of preservatives.
There's really something to that.
Yeah, I don't have chromosomes. I've just got E numbers. So yeah, there was not a lot of cooking in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you cook?
I've got 3 dishes, which, is great in that first few weeks of dating me, because you're like, wow, this bitch can really pull it together. And then
Yeah.
it's been 11 years and I've been heavily exposed, where it's the same breakfast I was making him 11 years ago is still my only one I can do.
It's all right.
And that's it. I mean, I smash the 3 dishes that I can
What
cook.
are they?
One of them is, it's scrambled eggs, but with quinoa cakes. And goat's cheese and pesto.
Oh, man.
On drizzled olive oil soaked sourdough.
Oh, man. I'd eat that for 11 years.
Chopped up avocado. He really loves it so much.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's my
That's a
little
great one.
signature breakfast.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just Italian dishes.
Yeah.
Just the cacios. Whatever the easiest shit you could cook is, that's what I can do. And
Cacio pepe is not that easy. A lot of people mess that up.
it's not, yeah.
I mean, it's basic. It's simple, like you said.
But it's all timing.
Exactly. How do you do yours? Do you do...
9 minutes on the boil. From when it starts boiling, 9 minutes.
Okay.
And then, well, it depends on the amount of pasta, obviously, that you're
Right.
cooking. But then I make sure to use the pasta water in my sauce to thicken it.
Right. And do you put the cheese in a bowl and transfer it into that? Like, do you mix the cheeses first in a little pasta? Or do you put it in a pan? Some people
I put it in a
up.
pan
Yeah.
and then cook it so that it's like every strand is covered in cheese.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good
My
job.
mouth's just filled up with saliva.
I know, mine too.
Yeah.
You really did it. Yeah, Italian's the best.
Yeah, but I think I love cleaning, so I just feel like I think someone else should cook and I should clean. Mm-hmm. That's where I love to eat and I love to clean. I hate to cook.
Oh,
It's too much
interesting.
responsibility.
Too much pressure?
Yeah, too much pressure.
Right.
If I had to cook for someone else, I spend the entire time I can't enjoy my meal. I'm just worrying and I'm watching and I'm trying not to stare, but I want to stare.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, is it got enough salt, enough pepper? Do you need any chili sauce? And I'm just frantically running back and forth. So I think I make it not fun to eat my food because I'm so stressed. So I
How
think it's
clean are you? Is your place immaculate?
No,
No?
but I make mess deliberately so that I have something to clean. Like
Yeah.
I used to go to house parties when I was a child, teenager, and I used to bring, bring my own bin bags, like trash bags, and tidy up as the party went along, so that their parents wouldn't have like a huge mess to come back to. And that's why no one had sex with me till I was 22.
Where'd that instinct come from?
I don't know. I think you know what I do know. that was a lie. I didn't know how to talk to anyone, so I just thought I should make myself useful. So it started with a coat check.
Right.
I used to set up a coat check at house parties.
Nice.
And I would organise people's coats on a bed, and I would wait till the bitter end of the party to make sure everyone left with their winter coat. And the trash bag thing was as a result of panicking when the summer came that no one had a coat anymore.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have any purpose. And so then I started bringing my own trash bags to clean. And I think being useful is just something that is inherently in me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gives you an activity, and you don't have to make small talk or do any of the
Exactly,
real
it's why I became a DJ,
Right.
so that I'm providing a service and no one can fucking talk to me.
It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm there, but I'm not there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty good. That's why I do love cooking, by the way.
right.
When there's a party and like I host a lot and there's people and they're all, together talking and about God knows what, and I'm working on the pasta.
Yeah, like Dawn Porter, Chris O'Dowd, the comedian, his wife is a wonderful writer, and she'll like pretty much threaten you with a knife if you come near the kitchen. And she's the most amazing cook,
Yeah.
and throws these huge dinner parties and everything is made by her from scratch, and it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
And it's really because she doesn't want to talk to you.
Cannot stand anyone coming in trying to help or touching anything, and I
Yeah.
love that about her.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Were you like that really young?
What?
Useful, looking for your use?
Yeah, always been useful. Yeah, I wonder if it's like an Asian thing, just this sort of nerdy, helpful thing. But I've always enjoyed being useful.
Right. What was your parents' situation?
What do you mean?
Were they in your life?
Yeah, my parents were in my life, in and out. They had a complicated marriage. I don't talk about them a lot because they didn't choose to be on The Good Place on NBC, but I did. But yeah, as most marriages almost do, theirs broke up.
Right.
And I don't think my usefulness was necessarily a result of that. I think I just, they say that people have love languages, and I haven't looked a lot into love languages, but I just know that mine is something to do with service. I don't, I'm not very good at communicating my love necessarily as a sentimental person. I'm not I'm not romantic. I'm not a very sentimental person. I have object permanence. So when I'm away from you, I forget that you're alive or ever existed. And so it's very easy for people to think maybe I don't love them because I can come across as aloof and I'm British, so I'm cold.
Right.
But acts of service is how I show people that I love them.
Right. I get that.
Yeah, my dad used to kind of be like that. My dad he wouldn't necessarily say he loves you very often, but he'd bring home your favorite snack.
Right.
And that's how you knew.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of those are the ways that I picked it up.
Right.
And so it's how I like to show that I care.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, it's hard to, if you're not built that way, to just let me just tell you how much I care about you.
Yeah, I just don't have it in me. Like I'm just like my boyfriend said I'm the least romantic person he's ever heard of, which is so funny because I have inspired such beautiful love songs by him. And I'm like, is he having an affair? Like, who is this woman that he sings these loving songs about? Because it can't be me. Like, he must have this like other wife and children, because there's no way I inspired that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but you have. What animal don't you trust?
What animal don't I trust?
When you see them, even if you haven't run into them.
Politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my least favorite species.
Really?
Yeah. I would
Why?
say.
They seem so great.
Other than that, it's not an animal, it's an insect, but I just think wasps are cunts.
Ooh, yeah.
Can I say that?
Yeah, you just did.
Well, I just hate them.
Were you ever attacked by them? Or
No. Well,
have you been able to avoid them so far?
No, I've had moments where I've been chased by them. I've stepped on one and it stung me, so that was really my bad. But I don't trust them.
No.
And I find insects to be devious.
They are.
They're devious.
They're really evil.
But you know what? I've stopped killing them, and I got a big karmic retribution that stopped me from killing them.
What do you mean?
So my boyfriend
Yeah.
and I had a huge ant problem in our house in the Bird Streets in LA. And he went out and he bought Raid or whatever the ant killer is.
Yeah.
And he bought it and he sprayed it all over our kitchen floor. And neither of us had read it properly and seen that it was outdoor only.
Oh, geez.
So we left it there and then we went to bed. And then I got up in the middle of the night to go get a snack because I like to sleep, eat. And he'd already gotten up to go and grab some water, maybe an hour before me. And a few hours later, he wakes up vomiting like black tar. And he's got a crazy fever and he's shaking and he's in agony. And this is a man who didn't get COVID one time. Like, he does not get ill ever. And he was so ill and I was so scared for him. And then an hour later, I start having identical symptoms. And we don't know what's going on. We think maybe we've been poisoned or something. We go to the emergency room. And then they're trying to like figure out why there's so much shit in our blood and like where we could have ingested this. And they were like, were you at a party? Did you drink anything?
Oh my God.
We were like, no. And they were like, talk us through the steps of your night. And so we were like, well, we sprayed a bunch of stuff on the floor and then just really went to bed. And they were like, what did you spray? And we told them. And then they explained to us that our feet are the most absorbent part of our body. And we had absorbed all of the ant poison through the most I think your asshole is the only bit that's more absorbent than the bottom of your feet. Thank God we didn't go in, we didn't scoot.
Like a regular night.
Scoot in like a dog.
Like you normally
I'd
do.
be dead. But we'd basically poisoned ourselves and we felt the death of the ants. So we were like, God, this is what it feels like. This is what we were doing to those poor little things that were just doing their job. And so we were like, we're never, ever going to hurt anything ever again. Because you don't think about what that spray does. Like, it attacks your nervous system.
Yeah.
I've never known pain or like just discombobulation. I was in agony.
Jeez.
It was horrific. And I was like, I can't believe I was willing to do that to another living creature. Because you just don't think.
No,
you
of
just
course
think,
not.
And then it's gone. And I'll never, ever use that stuff again. So now I just use a nice deterrent organic peppermint oil.
Does
like
it
a
work?
real LA middle class lady.
Does it work?
Not really, no. So it's just me and all the ants.
Oh man, that's so weird that you had the same reaction.
Yeah, I felt the death of the ant.
Yeah.
And good.
Good.
I think we should all feel the impact of the deterrents that we use. I think we should be in a mousetrap every now and then. See how that fucking feels.
I would push back and say we probably shouldn't, because then we can continue killing the insects without feeling bad about it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move the knife away from you. That's what I'm going to do.
That is brutal.
Yeah.
So you probably weren't even in there that long. You probably just walked in, got a little snack, and that
a few
quickly.
seconds. Yeah, because I regularly I look inside the fridge for the answers to my life. Mm-hmm. I just sit in there, I open the fridge and I ponder into it. And I just did a few minutes ponder, grabbed a snack, and then nearly died.
Wow. It's so crazy.
So crazy.
Were you hallucinating? Were you able?
Yeah, hallucinating everything.
How were you able to keep your act together to get to the hospital?
Well, someone came and got us and took us to the hospital. I don't remember a lot about that night.
Yeah.
I just remember feeling incredibly embarrassed once we understood that we'd nearly killed ourselves.
My wife doesn't like to kill any of the insects. She scoops them up and brings them outside.
And eats them.
And, and then eats them. Well, at least it's not in front of the children.
Yeah. Not yet, anyway.
If you were thrown in the woods, if you fell off a truck and you were in the woods by yourself, do you think you'd survive?
No, I'd kill myself.
You would?
Yeah. That's what I would do.
As soon as you assess the situation and realize I'm in the woods.
Yeah. That's it. I'm fucking out there. I want to get myself before something else gets me. I just wouldn't be able to cope. I've not got a single survival instinct in me.
No.
Yeah. When the apocalypse goes down, I'll die first. I've got patient zero written all over me. I was not built to survive.
Let's not drag this out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's just get it over with.
You know what? I've achieved all my dreams. I've met everyone I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Got a selfie with Jim Carrey. I'm ready to go. Yeah. It's fine.
I read that you didn't think you were going to be in show business when you were little.
No, because I thought the people were empty and stupid, but I was clearly wrong.
Right. And then you learn they're the most important people in the world. They're actually...
Actually, they're very profound and not egomaniacs who are mean. What
was your vision when you were little?
I wanted to do what every little Indian child wants to do, which is be a doctor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that came from me or from my lineage of people telling me, be a doctor. I can't tell if it's nature or nurture. But I was told that was my only choice.
Yeah.
So I wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And I genuinely do have such an interest in medicine and in health and in, like it's slightly racist, but my nickname amongst my friends started by me was Dr. Patel, because everyone when they're sick calls me and asks me for what they should do. And I like to help figure it out with them.
Yeah.
So I do have a genuine love of it, but that was the plan, was to be a doctor. And I was very, very studious at school, and loved it and loved biology and chemistry. But I got hit by a car when I was 17 into another car, broke my back, and then didn't want to go back to school after a year and a half of lying in bed. I couldn't imagine anything worse than sitting in a classroom. And I hated school.
Right.
So I just decided to go out there in the world and try and find my own way.
Right.
And then I just did every job I could get, like anything that was in the newspaper where they were looking for someone. I was a virgin, so I couldn't do the other stuff, the fun stuff that pays really well. So I had to do all the other stuff, like be a human test subject, where they would test like, shampoos and creams.
Oh,
and,
really?
Yeah, all sorts of terrible shit on me. And I think I'm like a bionic woman now because of all of that.
Between the McDonald's and this gig.
Exactly, yeah. I'm never dying.
You're really
That's
not
it.
dying.
No, when I die, I won't decompose.
Yeah, you look like you're in your 20s.
100%.
And you're
yeah.
completely... America's actually a perfect place for you.
I'm telling you. I don't know why surgery is so big here. Just eat the McDonald's. So I then became an English teacher and a model scout and all these other different things. And I was like a temp at different, media companies and stuff as a secretary. And then I got street scouted by a producer who wasn't even trying to get me on his show. He just knew of a show that was looking for someone and said, there's a nationwide search and just send in a tape. So I sent in a cover letter and then they asked for a tape. And then I went in and did the audition. I landed one of the biggest jobs in kind of the history of youth programming in the UK.
Crazy.
And
did that producer stay in touch? Was he...
Never saw him again.
Never
Don't know
saw
his
him
name.
again.
Don't know his name.
Whoa.
He just gave me like a weird drunk angel in a pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, just Puck.
That is amazing.
Sprinkled a bit of gold dust on me and left.
And your whole life is completely
Yeah,
different.
he's probably somewhere going, she should give me fucking 10%.
Yeah.
Like, he must be so pissed.
Yeah,
But
he
lot of
really blew it.
As much as I can credit him.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have to go for it. Although it was quite funny because when he offered it to me, when he proposed it to me,
right.
I was like, oh, I would never be on television. And he was like, well, it's £1,000 a day. And I was like, well, what is the email address, please? Can I have it immediately?
Yeah.
Integrity, like snaps, like a twig. But it was a book by Danny Wallace called The Yes Man that really made me go to the audition because I'm very easily impressionable, and this book is about a man with depression who decides to say yes to everything, and so he ends up going on this massive, amazing adventure and turning his entire life around by saying yes to everything.
Right.
So I definitely implemented that into my life.
Right.
And, I've unfortunately said this before publicly, so cover your ears, my publicist, but other than anal, I've continued to do that. My bumhole is the only thing that remains,
Well,
undiscovered.
You have to draw a line somewhere.
Yeah.
Are you still in that mode?
About anal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the yes part?
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
Are you?
I mean, yeah, look at everything
Yeah.
I've done. Like, I had no business becoming a TV presenter. I had no expertise or no experience whatsoever in front of a camera.
Yeah.
I then started writing a column. I'd never been a writer and a journalist before. I did
Yeah.
that for Cosmo for years. And then I had never done the radio before. And I went and got my own show on the radio by filling in for other people. And then I got a popular response from the audience. So then I got my own show. And then I came to America, like never acted before, went to the audition for The Good Place, did that. Now I'm doing, then I did Marvel as a supervillain, doing stunts. And I'm the most physically pathetic person that's ever lived. Like
Well, they definitely pulled it off. You don't look like you couldn't do stuff.
Oh my God, it was, what a great stunts team. I really want them to have their own category in like the Oscars.
They really should.
Yeah, because they're unbelievable. Wait, do they now?
Wait, Are you saying you didn't do those things in She-Hulk?
What? No, I did.
Oh.
But they taught me how to.
Oh, okay, I see.
They taught someone who was told by an osteopath that I'm clinically weak. They managed to get me to learn like jiu-jitsu. I could really fight. I could kick the shit out of people after leaving there after 6 months. They were training me 5 days a week,
Amazing.
3 hours a day,
Jeez.
and I turned into someone slightly physically capable for a while.
Did it change how you carry yourself?
It changed my gait. All my male friends were like, your gait has changed and you walk like a dude.
And mentally, were you like...
Yeah, I was like, fucking try something.
I'll take you.
I was like in the back of every Uber being like, I fucking wish you'd fucking try something. God, fucking try something. And actually, like, they'd have to know the exact opposite choreography to what I know from She-Hulk
Right.
in order for me to win.
No, you don't start like
Yeah,
that.
no, the other hand. Try and strangle me with the other hand. So yeah, a nightmare.
So are you still in the... How difficult was it, this is the yes thing, but to wrap up I Weigh? It seemed like it must have been a pretty... Did you feel like you had... like we said in the beginning, it got pretty deep, so you have a lot of people that are kind of learning from you.
Yeah, you're talking about my I Weigh podcast.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So, which is a podcast I had that was about kind of social justice and mental health for 5 years.
Yeah, so it's you're helping people and you're kind of navigating these waters, and it's kind of I imagine it'd be a tough thing to stop doing. Did you have like a...
It was a really tough thing to stop doing, and I really miss it, but I've started writing a Substack, so where I cover some of the same topics, so I still have some sort of outlet to be able to talk about things that are sometimes funny or sometimes on the dark side or sometimes a mixture of both. So because I crave still having those conversations.
Yeah.
But at the time when I parted ways with I Weigh, it was because a friend of mine had died, and it really crushed my brain, like flattened my brain for a bit.
Yeah.
And then that combined with everything that's happening in the world, in the Middle East, like on the news, in America, it was all too much. And I was like, I'm preaching mental health on a show where my mental health is diminishing and I need to just take a little break for a while. So I'm sure I'll find a way to revisit that, but I needed to stop. And I also needed to, walk the walk, which is, I'm always encouraging people to take, to have to indulge in a bit of respite or reprieve. And comedy is a way that I can give people that little bit of escapism every week. And like I said, I still use my platforms otherwise to talk about serious things, but it's not 100% of what I talk about anymore. Yeah. Because I need a bit of levity. And I think that's okay to admit. And I think we feel guilty about admitting that we need a little escapism and a little bit of joy now and then. But how else are you supposed to sustain a long-term fight? And actually, when you look at the work of all the great real activists, not a bunch of actors reposting shit on our Instagrams, like actual activists, they all talk about the necessity of reprieve. And so I'm just trying to navigate that at the moment.
Yeah. Well, good for you. I mean, it's, I don't see how people get through life doing anything but, you know. And it's okay, but you can't just grind the whole time. It's
well, you'll die and then you're no good to anyone, or you'll burn out and then you can't give anyone anything. And so then what's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
But it's, did you feel like, you were doing it before your friend had passed, or before, like when you were just kind of in the middle of helping people out, was it heavy even at that point?
No, it wasn't as heavy.
Yeah.
It wasn't as heavy because I think she just tipped me over the edge.
Yeah.
And she died in just like a very sudden, very brutal, horrific way. And I think it made me very angry with myself that I didn't spend enough time with her at the end. And I wasn't there when she needed me in the final moment because I was at work. And I think it made me hate work and resent my life and resent my job and everything. Yeah. Which I'm sure is just, foolish and misplaced rage. But that's how I felt. Yeah. And so I think I just wanted to completely shake up my whole life just to find myself again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Grief is such a sloppy, messy bitch.
It's so messy because you never know.
No, and it's insidious.
How it's going to hit you.
It's not the same for everyone, and it creeps up on you, and suddenly you're crying over fucking Coldplay, and in a field, and you just stop sleeping, and your habits change. Like I became addicted to panettone. Addicted. Yes,
For
that's
real?
right. I saw that right there and I was
Yeah.
like, did my publicist tip you off? I became addicted to panettone, which is largely a Christmas food, right? But
It is.
but there I am with my panettone addiction in July on a black market of panettone,
Yeah,
on
they're
eBay.
still around. They're still around.
Yeah, just with like on like weird forums with other like fucking panettone freaks.
How do you like to eat it?
Just I like to raw dog panettone.
Raw dog. Don't.
Yeah, I'm not toasting it.
don't
I'm not
toast
putting
it.
butter on it. No, I'm just like, I'm raw dogging the panettone. Just like fist. I don't use a knife. I just put my fist in it and I just shove it in my face.
You're a dream.
Yeah.
An absolute dream.
Can you believe someone has decided to live with me for 11 years? Isn't that the sign of the apocalypse?
He is very lucky.
Yeah, what a poor man. Again, that's who those songs are about. Just remember, he's walking in, seeing someone having a nervous breakdown, fisting raw dogged panettone, covered in crumbs and like and overly sweet candied fruit.
Yeah.
And he's like, feels inspired.
Yeah,
What
it's
a
heavenly.
fucking joke. Yeah.
The other weird thing about grief, I don't want to linger on it too much, but the other weird thing
No,
is
let's.
that you don't, you never know where you're at and how it's going to affect you.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are times when you're just, for whatever reason, your life is in a place where you're capable of dealing with a big loss in your life, and you're able to do it. And then then a loss will come up, which on
You didn't
paper
see
might
coming.
seem,
Yeah.
you didn't see coming, and maybe even on paper seems like it would be small, and it can completely devastate you.
Well, I think something that's really interesting is that, and I don't think I really understood this until this happened, because she was the first really close friend I lost. I've had, I had an uncle die in my arms when I was a child. Like I've experienced death before.
Yeah.
But there's so much comforting that happens when you lose the people you're supposed to grieve over, which is family or a partner.
And
but
it's
when
on
you lose a
time.
friend, people don't really take it as seriously. And yet friends are like the loves of our lives.
Yeah.
There are many friendships that will far outlive romantic attachments.
Yeah.
And there's so much more sympathy when you lose a partner. And so much more attention and so much more checking in. And not that I even wanted or needed those things, but I did notice. And also, I wasn't prepared. That's the biggest thing, is that I would be prepared somewhat for the grief of losing someone that I'm supposed to grieve and lose my mind over.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to grieve a friend like that because society has never told me what that kind of heartbreak is. It's like when we see countless songs or films or books about the breakup of relationships, but there's nothing about the breakups of friends. And, whenever I do a kind of Ask Me Anything on my podcast or on my social media, or on my Substack, the biggest question that comes up every time is, how do I deal with the breakup of a friendship? People have nowhere to fucking turn.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. And so I think that's also what, shook me really badly, is not expecting the pain of losing a friend, because society doesn't impress much importance on something that is actually the pivotal foundation of our lives. It's our community.
Yeah. And it's also very private. Your friendship is very private.
Yeah.
Like,
and people have weird ways of dealing with grief. I know someone who had to masturbate at his grandmother's funeral because he was so stressed.
I thought you weren't going to repeat that. I thought that was between us.
Hey man,
I brought you bread.
There's no shame in the game. Yeah, but it's gluten-free bread.
I lost friends, all my dear friends.
Because you masturbated at their grandmother's funerals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the first one was like when I was 13, 14.
Oof.
And that kind of like...
Was it another 13, 14-year-old? Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry. That's so massive at that age.
It is massive, but it kind of sets life in a perspective. It gives you perspective on that unexpected.
Yeah.
You expect it.
Right.
Pretty much.
But then do you go looking for it?
No.
Because I had a friend one time who I was less close to, but we were supposed to meet up, and she stood me up, and that was really rude. And then I texted her and she didn't respond, and then she didn't respond all day. And I was incensed because I'd taken the day off to hang out with her. And then I finally phone her house phone, and someone picks up, and it's her daughter. And I was like, blah, 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 where's your mum? She hasn't turned up all day. And she just said, Mummy's dead. And this is not the friend I'm talking about last year.
Yeah.
This was when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And now, if you don't text me back within fucking 20 minutes, I'm 100% certain that you're dead.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I have carried that with me forever.
Yeah.
So I like frantically follow up. It's like you cannot not text me back.
Yeah.
And yet I don't text people back for days. So the hypocrisy is unbelievable. Like it's unreal. I'm going straight to hell. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200.
My second closest friend who passed away was the same exact story. I was waiting at a restaurant for him to come, and he never came.
Oh no!
But thankfully, it was before texting, so I don't have that problem.
Oh, you're so lucky.
So lucky. I want to show you something. We do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
So is it my entire life? You're going to show me a reel of my entire life.
This is actually, you probably find a little relief. It's more on me than it is on you.
Fabulous. Love that.
But you're so insightful in talking about dealing with your self-image and trying to help people navigate
You're
their
about to show me a bikini
self-esteem
photo.
and all that kind of stuff. No, this happened to me over the weekend. My tour manager was looking up a show I have coming up in the summer, and they brought back this image of me that I don't know if it's a ticket site or if it's the venue. How am I supposed to feel about this image of myself generated by AI?
Whoa.
Isn't that horrible?
It doesn't look like you.
I know, but it's my shirt. It's literally the shirt I'm wearing right now.
It is literally the shirt you're wearing now. But what's it done? It's made you look so weird.
It's made me...
Why did he do that? Why didn't he just use a picture of you?
I don't know. There's plenty of pictures of me out there in the world. But I think they're just saying AI do all the stuff for this thing. This is what we were talking about before. This is like going too far with AI.
You look like you're taking whatever Elon's taking.
Right?
And you look thrilled. You look happy.
I feel horrible. And it's not even me. I know it's not me, but it's enough elements of me
to
make
creepy.
me kind of hate me.
Has anyone put your face on someone else's nudes?
No. Does that happen to you?
Oh yeah, big time.
Oh, really?
But it's great because now if my ever actual nudes circulate, I'm going to gaslight the public and be like, it's AI. Because now it will just filter in with all the other nudes of me. And so you can't tell which is which because they're all so realistic. So I could just now start doing whatever I want and be like, it's AI. I think that's what we're about to start seeing in politics, right?
Right. Just
going to kill people right on camera and be like, ugh. AI.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to know whether up is down or down is up soon. So
I know it's going to get really
it's going to be the Gaslight Express.
Yeah, it's going to get really
I'm excited.
Scary. Are you?
Yeah.
You will be until they do this to you.
Oh, they've done way worse to me. Trust me.
Yeah. Ugh. You always look amazing, though. You always look like your whole Instagram is an example of someone that looks great in whatever they want you to wear.
Well, Instagram is where you don't put the worst photos of yourself.
Oh, no.
Technically.
That's why my followers are falling off.
Because Instagram is really just a place where you're saying, hi to any brands. Do you like me? Look how nice I look in this dress. I could look nice in one of your dresses. So,
that's how it happens.
Do you like my lipstick? Imagine how I'd look in your lipstick. That's why my Instagram looks nice.
That's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of the time I do post myself looking rough in stories because it's 24 hours. You know, it doesn't live in perpetuity.
Oh, so that's where you get the real.
Yeah, that's why you see me look like Saddam Hussein at the very end when he's in the cave. You know, he's in the cave with the little Coca-Cola and the Mars bar, the fun-sized Mars bar. Yeah. That's where people get the real me. It's all going down in my stories.
It's all in the stories.
Yeah.
Oh,
but on Grid, brilliant. I'm a perfect little angel queen.
You really are.
Yeah.
You're like a movie star. Do you have any scars?
Scars all over my body.
What's got the coolest story attached to it?
Well, I had sex on a pool table once, fun scar.
A scar from that?
Yeah, because it was an old pool table.
Bumper
and
pool?
so I got like, I think nearly got tetanus or lockjaw or something from it because it was like an old one. And so like part of the metal was coming off the corner of the leg.
Oh, no.
And I just like sliced my leg. So that's kind of like a badass one.
Yeah, it is.
And then the less badass one is when I was running for a curry. And I'd already eaten dinner that night, so I didn't need to run for this curry, but my favourite curry house was closing and I really wanted lamb biryani. So I was running so fast that I tripped over myself and I split my knee open right outside the curry house. So like, it was so close and yet so fast and so far. And then the ambulance had to like take me and I was like, could I just go in and quickly get a lamb biryani? And they were like, fucking no, there are real emergencies happening. Get in the car.
This is important.
It's like someone could be having a heart attack right now. Get in the fucking van.
Can you get good Indian food in LA?
Nope.
You really can't, right?
It's trash. Yeah, it's really bad. It's a hate crime.
Why is that?
I don't know. And it's made by Indians here. So like, shame on us, but I can't cook fucking Indian food either.
Yeah.
So I can't say shit. But
Yeah.
it's as if I'm cooking the food. That's how bad it is.
You haven't found one place that's like...
Cinnamon is
Yeah.
okay in West Hollywood. That's quite nice. But
Haven't been
like
there.
the standard in London is unreal.
Yeah.
It's damn near better than some restaurants, even in India and Pakistan. Like
Yeah.
we throw down in England.
I know.
Yeah.
I had my last trip to London, and my friend tipped me off on Veer Das actually told me
Oh
where
yeah,
to go.
love Vedas.
So great.
Yeah.
And he told me where to go, and we went and ate it. And we're like, oh, we've never had Indian food before.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just fantastic.
But the Mexican food here is amazing, and the Mexican food in England is trash. So when God giveth, He taketh away.
So son of a hoo-ha. Can I ask you a question?
No, I'm done.
Really? Just a couple more.
No, you've run out of time.
Come on.
Okay, fine.
I'm going to do your podcast. I'm going to let you ask anything you want. You have met a lot of famous people.
Yeah.
You got, did you have any run-ins that were very uncomfortable? Or maybe you said the wrong thing?
Why is my publicist laughing?
You know,
Are you fucking kidding me?
I heard that.
Who are you thinking of?
When you went through the phase of smelling celebrities on red carpets.
Oh, yeah. I made things weird. I'm the bad celebrity in all of these stories. And fuck you, Jen. I started sniffing celebrities.
Oh, see how they smell?
Yeah, I just wanted to know.
It's interesting.
I always wondered.
Yeah.
I got Paul Rudd.
What do he smell like?
That went viral. And then I got Keanu, also went viral, which means I'm not alone in wanting to know what these people smell like.
Yeah.
But also, am I a bit of a fucking freak? Yeah.
Do you
I
remember what they
pretend that-
smelled like?
Money.
Yeah, rich is
Money, agelessness, and innate goodness. I chose the two freshest men to smell.
Yeah,
I think I sniffed Maya Rudolph. She smells fucking great.
right.
Yeah, just heavenly scent.
Do you like cologne on a man?
I like something woody, but I don't like something flowery on anyone.
Right.
Foul.
Woody.
Everything. It just always makes me imagine like a grandma's.
Yeah, like rose water kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yuck.
Disgusting. Yeah.
Gross
So I
hard candy.
like woody, oaky, sort of, the sandalwood,
Right.
tobacco.
Yeah.
Tobacco's a great scent.
Cigar?
No, disgusting. Sorry.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Who would you rather go on a date with? Old George Clooney or young Barbara Streisand?
Young Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fucking hilarious and gorgeous. Wow. How
So unique.
I watched Funny Girl, and like the whole film is about how ugly she is, and I'm like, what's happening? It's like,
If a girl isn't pretty like the Miss Atlantic City, all she gets in life is pity and a pet.
and you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, she's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Those lips,
Completely
those eyes.
unique. I know.
It's like Bridget Jones's Diary, where it's like, oh, boom, boom, boom. And then this size 8 woman walks through the fucking like street. You know, it's like Jurassic Park, where there's like every time she takes a step, there's like a ripple in the water, and it's just this normal thin woman.
Yeah.
So annoying.
It's so funny. Does old George Clooney do anything for you?
He does my taxes, actually. No, I'm joking. I think he's a very handsome man. I think he's a great example of why I shouldn't have to change my hairstyle because he hasn't changed his. And so basically, when the internet gets angry that I've had the same hairstyle since I was 2 and I'm 39 now, so that's also the entirety of my career. I've looked exactly the same.
Yeah.
I've decided that until George changes his hair, I'm not changing mine.
Oh, that's smart.
So I'm actually quite tied to him in that way.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows.
Yeah, I don't know yet, but he'll find out now.
That's amazing.
Yeah, please don't shave your head.
Yeah.
Please, don't change anything.
What would you change?
I'm
What would
probably
you
going
do?
to chop it off.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to chop it off
Have
and go
you've
for
never
a French bob.
You've never had that short?
Only once when I was 15, because I went to this wretched hairdresser who I went to for a trim. I got signed to a modelling agency, so I was technically a model, but never got a single call back. So I don't think I could actually call myself a model. But I went for a trim and she grabbed my hair into a ponytail and cut the whole thing off. And I had 21 inches of hair gone, which she probably sold for like $10,000.
Right. Yeah.
But I'll never forget, I was looking in the mirror and I couldn't see what she'd done, but my mum was in the car outside and I could see my mum in the reflection and I saw her reaction and that's how I knew that my hair was all gone. So after that, I refused to let anyone touch my hair, so I cut my own hair.
Wow.
Cut my own disastrous fringe and, you know, I've just not changed anything because it would require someone coming near me with scissors.
So when that happened and she cut all your hair off, that's when you started doing the coat check at the parties?
No. I was already doing that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. Yeah, nothing changed. I just always was quite I had quite a school shooter vibe, you know, at school. I was like sort of silent, lonely and starey, you know. Yeah. And I wore a combat jacket. Why? I'm in England. Like, I'm in central London. I'm going to the same school that Queen Elizabeth went to. Why am I wearing an army jacket? Like a fucking psycho.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, you're letting your freak out.
Yeah. And then 9/11 happened and I was like, I'm going to stop wearing this jacket now.
Yeah, it's time to blend in.
Yep. I'm not going to use a backpack anymore for school. I'm just going to hold my books loose in my hands.
What is an
Anyway.
80-year-old version of you going to be?
Oh, she's going to be so fucking rowdy. I can't wait
Yeah.
to meet her. I think about her all the time.
Big glasses?
Big glasses, big clothes. Like I keep a lot of my clothes. You know, there's a lot of talk all your life about like, you know, you don't want to be mutton dressed as lamb, and so you're supposed to give away clothes that are too young for you. But when I come across those clothes, I'm like, maybe I won't get away with it at 50, but I will come back around again at 80 and it'll be amusing again. So
you turn into like a rodeo clown.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm keeping my little tiny short jumpsuits and stuff, and I'm like, I'm going to be an adorable old woman.
That's awesome.
You know, wearing just wild shit and the feathers and see-through and you know, just I have this therapist who I only saw for like 3 months, which is why I'm still crazy. But she would, you know, was in her like 70s, wearing like pedal pushers and heels and a necktie, and like looked like she was dressed out of something out of Greece.
Yeah.
Like Rizzo. And I was like, she looked fucking amazing every day.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I can't wait to be old. And I really want to celebrate it. And I really want to be, you know, I finally started looking after myself, my health recently, because I'm so aware that I'm going to fuck her over if I don't look after myself now.
Right.
And then she's going to be mad at me the way I'm mad at my 20-year-old self for not looking after me.
Yeah.
And I'm a very big people pleaser, so I really want 85-year-old me to like me.
Yeah.
So I'm living my life entirely for her approval.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really great.
Thank
That's
you.
a great way to look at
It
it.
is great. You know, I'm thinking about bone density and all kinds of things
Yeah.
and what she's going to wear and how she's going to live. And I'm having adventures now that she can look back on, you know, when she gets those like brief, like sort of flashbacks during the dementia.
Yeah.
I will have Jamentia. It's my own special brand.
Yeah. That's really pretty brilliant. I like that philosophy.
Yeah,
That's really great.
Honestly, it's changed my life.
Yeah.
And I think if we all thought like that, you know, we're all taught to dread aging in the West, like not even in just the West, but America
Yeah.
and England. We put old people, not even old people, we just put 60-year-olds by the window and then leave them there until they finally rot away.
Yeah.
And we can circle them like
Yeah.
vultures for their, deeds and wills. But in Europe, you just grow in value.
Right.
And also in Asia.
Yeah.
You're
Oh,
still
they're
a
respected.
central part
Yeah.
of the community, of the unit. Like respect goes up for you in other
Yeah.
parts of the world, but I feel like respect goes down for elderly people here.
Absolutely.
And I walk around in like Berlin and Paris and stuff, and London's as bad as America for this.
Oh, it is?
But in Europe, when I'm in like Germany, I'm out at midnight and there's like 80 and 90-year-olds out drinking coffee at midnight,
Right.
like living their lives to the fullest
Right.
extent, and they're sharp and they're vital and they're in the museums and they're still walking and
Yeah.
you're like, wow, this is how you're supposed to live, and there's such reverence for them
Yeah.
in society, and they've got the best stories, and young people are conversing with the elderly, and it just feels so much less detached than whatever this fucking nightmare is in America and the United Kingdom.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's such and you can see via how stupid we're all becoming, that we're not ingesting the wisdom of the elders
No.
because we've left them alone by the window. Mm-hmm. And that's no other culture that does that.
Yeah.
And it's diminishing society.
I had someone send me a correspondence on social media, I think it was, or email. Anyway, we're going back and forth, and they were so sharp and so funny, and we're just having this little back and forth, like 3 or 4 exchanges, but like a little lengthy. And it wasn't until like the 4th or 5th that I learned that she was 78 years old.
Yes.
And it really blew my mind. I just naturally thought someone this smart and this funny was my age or younger.
Yeah.
78. I was like, oh,
They're so great, and we infantilize them so early. And, like I hate it when my friends get really weird if I say anything remotely, even mentioning sex around their parents. And it's like,
right.
your parents were probably 69ing yesterday. Fucking calm down.
Exactly.
They've literally had more time to have more sex than you've managed to have.
Yeah,
And they weren't from the
exactly.
weirdo online dating world. Like they probably had actual sex
Yeah, with
and fun.
human
They were
beings.
they were there in the 60s and the 70s. They've been fucking.
Right.
And so I get
Publicly
really
in parks.
exactly. I get really irritated by the way that we just take the fangs out of just the elderly. Like they're so sharp, so funny. Like my Substack, it's an essay writing platform. The majority of my audience, and it's a deeply inappropriate Substack. I write like completely raw essays about anything from politics to sex to jokes about dildos and all sorts of it's racy. And the majority of my audience are in their 70s.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And the letters and the correspondence I get
Yeah.
are just people who are just like, oh, I love this. I really relate to this.
Yeah,
da, 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 da. And
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is so refreshing.
That's
that they're
so
not,
great.
You imagine they'll be offended by
Yeah.
something outrageous, where I was like, they birthed like genuine outrage, genuine protest, genuine
Yeah.
politics. Like
Yeah.
we're just a bunch of fucking losers,
right.
wimps.
Who aren't keeping it going.
Yeah. Who are
Yeah.
just being like,
Don't tell them about masturbating.
shut up. Ugh, I hate us.
We're the worst.
The worst.
This was so great. This is really nice meeting you.
Oh, it's so nice
Yeah,
to meet you. Thank
completely.
you so much for having me.
Yeah, I hope we stay in each other's orbit.
No, I think we're done here.
Damn it. I always try. Why does everyone end it like that?
But I'm still taking the bread.
Yeah, the bread, we have a bag for you. We'll give you the bread. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
I'll
This
see you
was so
soon.
great.
We got it, kids.